Let's talk about FuelCell, ticker symbol FCEL. In this video, I'm going to lay out who they are, why they've been moving quite a bit, and also conduct a technical analysis towards the end of this video. Now, before I get started, I always ask you to smash that like button. Comment below if I missed anything, because I know I'm going to miss some details. I just looked into this company, so help me out below in those comments. Also, feel free to subscribe. What you get for subscribing is weekly uploads from yours truly, including stocks like this. I like to focus a lot on EV market stocks, hydrogen fuel cell companies, things like that, a lot of diversification. So FCEL Energy is a hydrogen fuel cell company. And essentially what this is that they use fuel cells to generate power instead of traditional methods like coal and fossil fuel. As you can imagine with this is a much more greener alternative. So a lot of this is attributing to the volatility we're seeing. Now, one thing that's important to note is that they are a significant leader in this niche. It's really this company and another company known as Plug Power, and I'll talk more about them and how they compare later on in this video. So why is it moving? So a lot of it is boiling down to a lot of optimism. So first of all, a lot of people are forecasting an economic recovery, and why does this make sense? So first of all, vaccine news. We already have essentially 3 vaccines in the works, and that news is just, it's showing people that there's a light at the end of the tunnel for our economy. And then on top of that, you typically see a positive correlation with fuel consumption, with oil consumption. So as more people get out there, as the economy recovers, expect more fuel to be consumed and expect more entertaining alternatives such as the hydrogen fuel cell market. Now, there's plenty of other catalysts to mention as well, such as the news on November 16th from the United Nations, and essentially they made a comment on how they want to start phasing out coal as power. Also, back on October 9th, they secured an $8 million contract with the Department of Energy, and this is for them to establish an electrolysis platform, which is essentially just another alternative that the government is funding into. We can also expect any news relating to Joe Biden in terms of his initiatives or just him being more established as a president can serve as a catalyst. Now, typically being Democratic and just the statements he's made prior, he does have quite an outlook for green initiatives. So pay attention to that. Any significant news you can expect from him in terms of, yeah, we need to start going green now, things like that, can serve definitely as a positive catalyst in this market. And then last is Plug Power. So Plug Power, they've been a substantial catalyst for this company. They're essentially in the same market space, but they are more of that front runner. And you can look at this company as being in second place. So keep all that in mind. I'll talk more later about how they compare. We'll also expect any catalyst resulting from that company to serve as a positive correlation. So keep that in mind. And then ultimately, people are just investing more into the hydrogen economy. And you see this a lot with their books. So if you look into the books for both of these companies, you see that there's a lot of institutions invested into it. So essentially what that means is it's millions of dollars being put forth into it. And there's a lot of forecasting going on / optimism for these companies and just this overall market. So something else to keep in mind there. Now let's talk about how this company compares to Plug Power. Now honestly, I like Plug a lot more. They've generated a lot more revenue. Unlike FuelCell, they haven't really generated any revenue, and if they have, it's just been minuscule compared to Plug. Plug is just a lot more established at this point. Plug has also had much bigger market moves so far, so they've already sealed deals with like Walmart and Amazon. And a lot of this is largely due to their product. So the product that they focus on is hydrogen fueled forklifts. So this is a huge market that they can disrupt. And again, just expect any real significant news or catalyst from Plug to coincide with FuelCell. With that being said, this company has huge potential to grow into this market. FuelCell, Plug, both of them together, they're looking great, and it's really not bad to have both in your portfolio just because it gives you a little bit of diversification. So we're going to finish out by hopping over to my screen here. I'm going to do a quick technical analysis, give you my thoughts on FuelCell, and then we'll go from there. So here is FCEL Energy, ticker symbol FCEL. This is the 6-month, 180-day chart for this company. You can see over the last 6 months, it hasn't done a whole lot until recently. So we zoom in here, it's just, again, very unclear. The thing with this is that direction is unclear. There's no clear pattern, and right now it's extremely bullish, and it doesn't know where it's going to go. Now, you got to be very careful with stocks like this. Now, if I look down here and utilize my other indicators, the RSI indicator is telling me it's extremely overbought. It is nearly maxed out on this indicator. But if I refer to my MACD indicator, it's showing that it's on great bullish momentum right now. So it's very unclear what it's doing. Now, typically with something like this, there typically follows a huge pullback or sell-off. Not always the case. It's just the probability is high, right? All this pump is a bunch of people that kind of sat in it and kept buying in. They wrote into it. And the thing is, that's called FOMO, and you got to be very, very careful. A lot of people fall into the FOMO. You could be watching this video tonight and say, I'm going to get into it right at market open, and then it completely sells off, and you only jumped in because you were speculating. You were you were kind of getting nervous and anxious about it keeping to go up, and you're missing out. Fear of missing out, FOMO, that is the word of the day. Be careful. Now, things I'm looking at here, if I'll zoom in a little bit, again, no clear direction at all. The most I can do here is set my alerts and wait and see what happens. Now, if I want to look for a favorable buying spot, whether I'm an investor or a day trader in the interim, I can at least look at what's happened the last few hours and see how much it pulls back. But if it's able to go up nearly, I believe, 30-something% in a day, there's no reason why it can't drop that much either. So be very careful with that. Direction's very unclear. Now, one thing I want to note here too is when I look on this chart, you see how these candlesticks are above this teal line here? This is the EMA line here. And the more those are above it, it shows how strong the price action is. And these candlesticks are well above it. There's a huge gap in between here, thus indicating it's extremely bullish. And then we saw a nice pump follow after market hours. So a lot can happen here. Be very careful. It's hard for me to advise and kind of give advice on terms of, when to buy in. I know you guys always ask for that, but the most I'm going to give you is the fact that you need to be careful. Again, I don't know what's going to happen. If I did, I'd be a millionaire. You got to be careful with what's going on here. I could see this really pulling back. I don't know how soon. And I also don't know how much it can pump after that pullback. But a pullback is inevitable. Set your alerts. Be careful. And have a plan. So like this video if it helped you out. Comment below if I missed any details about this company. I know I did. There's plenty to share. Share that below with us. We'd like to know more, or your advice or your opinion on this company. So just feel free to share that below. Also feel free to join our Discord channel, completely free. It's more just a lounge so we can kind of hang out, talk to each other, learn from each other. Link is in the description, again, completely free. Also, I encourage subscribing to the 9 to 5 Trader channel. What you get is weekly uploads from yours truly, from relevant stocks like this, and maybe stocks that you suggest as well. Just let me know below in those comments. Good luck to you guys the rest of this week. It's been crazy so far. Let's see what happens next. Happy trading.